ordered 100 feet of the red reflective 700-pound cord. The red color is distinct, but not fluorescent or neon in its own right. It's a slightly brighter shade of red than standard red bricks. BRBR derived in a clear plastic bag with a colorful card insert describing the rope, its features, etc. See photo, which also depicts Tough Grid's camo green 750 cords packaging. BRBR it appears to be essentially identical to the standard 750-pound Paracord Tough Grid cells, except two of the strands in the outer nylon sheath have been replaced with some sort of retroreflective strands similar to 3M Scotch Light. Note: I don't know the original manufacturer of the retroreflective strands. After examination under a microscope, see photos, both at 50x and 250x, it's clear that the reflective strands are each a single piece and not composed of smaller fibers. Each reflective fiber contains numerous tiny glass bead retroreflectors embedded in it. My microscope has 4 white LEDs around the lens in order to illuminate objects. These LEDs are clearly visible in the reflection from the beads. BRBR it's likely that these retroreflective strands are not as strong as the original nylon strands they replaced, so the rope is specified to hold 700 pounds rather than the standard 750-pound limit for non-reflective cord. BRBR the overall diameter of the rope is the same as standard 750 cord, which is just a hair thicker than the more common 550 cord. BRBR the two retroreflective strands are woven in a diamond pattern that makes the rope highly visible.
This is great paracord. I use it mostly to make fancy knots and tie lanyards for people, so I have not torture tested it, but I can tell you simply from feel this stuff is insanely strong. I have learned how to tie a bunch of different knots, and sometimes I have messed up and actually needed to use pliers to get the knots untied, and this stuff has held up with no tearing or fraying despite anything I put it through. I used it in a lanyard for my knife in the picture and carry it every day. It still looks as good as new. The reflective portion is actually woven into the cord itself, so you do not have the problem some cheaper reflective cords have where the reflective material snags or degrades at a faster rate. It feels and functions exactly like normal paracord. BRBR the size on this is exactly the same as your standard 550 paracord. This has a few extra nylon strands inside, but externally you cannot tell the difference. This means it is very flexible and it is easy to tie any knots you want. Some cheaper cords tend to be stiff and hard to work with. This feels more like a rope that is flexible enough to bend and conform to anything you need. The reflective properties are also great. As you can see from the picture, it throws back a good amount of light, and at night it is even better.
I bought this cord to use as skylines on my tent. The reflective quality is top-notch. Very visible. I chose this cord over others available because there are 2 reflective strands rather than just one, which gives a sense of dimension to the cord in the dark. As far as use for guylines, paracord in general is rather thick and heavy, maybe overkill. When looped and knotted, it's rather bulky at the attachment points. Our car camp, so weight isn't really a concern, but if I were counting ounces I would look for something lighter. I got the 50 length and there was plenty of cord to make 10 guylines, as well as 4 medium length loops for its harp and 6 small loop tags for other attachment points on the tent, and I still have a good bit left over. I'll probably make some zipper pulls and keep the rest in my pack, just in case. The cut pins melted and sealed very well with a lighter. Overall I am happy with this cord. I'm sharing pictures with and without flash, and the cord is equally bright when hit by a flashlight beam.
Just got back from a camping trip where I used this cord to stake out a tarp canopy. I chose the Hibis orange, so that the lines would be visible during the day, and hoped that the reflective property would be good at night. I can report that the day visibility, and night reflective properties are excellent. I was using a small, single red headlamp at night to help retain my night vision, and the cord stood out very clearly even with a low output from my headlamp. I'm very pleased with the cord, and will be buying more for my emergency stash, as well as for some paracord projects I have in mind.
There are many choices available when it comes to paracord, and it gets a bit silly trying to pick the right one for your purposes. So, I just went ahead and picked what I believe is the most versatile paracord, even though it is a bit more expensive. Glad I did. Having the reflective cord for camp use is awesome, and I will never go back to the non-reflective cord. I prefer the heavier duty cord for my gear, so I stepped up from my usual 550 to this 700, which would be 750, but when they substitute in the reflective strands the cord loses a little strength. I am no expert on cordage or rope, but I would not use this to support my body weight, or in any climbing or suspension application. It is for gear only. Tough Grid 700 holds a knot well, practically glows in the dark, is super strong, and 100 feet is easy to handle and store in a small 3-liter dry bag in which I also keep carabiners. Tough Grid followed up on the sale, and they seem genuinely interested in customer feedback and satisfaction. Fantastic product from a great company.
Very heavy duty. Double reflective threads. It is top quality construction. Unfortunately it didn't deliver on half of the reason I bought it. It is absolutely not neon, or day glow, or fluorescent. It is not bright orange at all. I wanted the reflectivity for nighttime visibility and the neon orange for daytime visibility. I didn't get the daytime part, -2 stars. BRBR in the picture, the big spool in the center and most of the monkey fists are this stuff. The 2 center monkey fists are the other brand. Also for comparison is my cycling jacket and the other paracord I found that is truly neon orange and also has double reflective threads. In person the difference is much more dramatic than the camera captured.
This is my 4th order from these guys, but my first time buying their reflective cord. This is quality cord. I bought the black cord and was very impressed by its reflective properties. Brighter the light the more it shines. A must have to make lanyards for your gear in low light if you're camping, hunting or fishing. Great for tent lines you don't want to run into at night. Probably 1,000 uses for this stuff. And it's rated at 700 pounds. Usually only see it in 550. I'll be picking up a few more colors for future projects.
I have yet to try 700 pounds on this. I like this cordage a lot. The price and the sheer quantity seem about right. If it supports 700 pounds, well, that's great too. What I wanted was robust cordage with reflective properties and a good price. This was it for me. The reflective additive does makes the texture somewhat unfamiliar, but that's easily gotten over. Nice flexibility, decent reflectivity. I sprang for the 100 foot in a bag. The yellow cord would be even more visible at night. I've tried several knots with this cordage and, so far, they are holding well and easy to tie and untie.
Recently went camping and used this stuff to grate guy wires for a tarp and for a campsite clothesline. It worked wonderfully in each application. One thing I wasn't expecting is just how reflective the cord would be at night. I tested it out in a dark room of the house when my order arrived, and it didn't really impress me. Beautying the field, at night, wearing a high-intensity LED headlamp made the cord glow like white hot metal. It was pretty awesome, I must say, and it was great for keeping people from walking into or tripping over my guy wires at night. We'll be buying more, for sure.
Made this purchase in May, after a camping trip in which we realized we needed some sort of visibility reflectivity on the tent guy wires in both day and night scenarios. Our next camping trip, completed in November, was the first time we put this product into service. Worked exactly as expected, high visibility in both day and night settings to prevent tripping over our tent lines. We didn't have a lot of wind on this trip, so can't talk about strength. But seeing as how this is 700 cord and an upgrade from typical cord which comes with tents, I really don't have any worries on that front. Great product and great customer service from the seller. Highly recommend it.